Hey, this is TK Irish at the Camp Kennerk podcast, and today we are having a special edition. We're talking about the Kentucky Derby. Yes, but before we get there and talk about why I have my new haberdashery hat on, you'll notice down the road it'll be a lot of fun when you figure it out. But first of all, I want to talk to you about something that happened in 1919. Now, this took place in Sanford Memorial Stakes in Saratoga, Florida. Uh, there was a racehorse by the name of Manowar. He was the biggest, the baddest horse race there was. I mean, nobody ever gave him a run for his money. So one day he gets into Saratoga and gets into the race, and he does well for a while. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this long shot horse comes up and beats him bad at the finish line. And ironically, the name of the horse that won was Upset. Yes, hence the phrase "it's an upset." All based on the fact that a long shot horse beat Man o' War, the greatest horse racing animal there was, because hey, stuff happens, and that's the fun of it. Of course, the press ran with it, and that's the reason why when you see a competition of any sports and an underdog wins, they call it an upset, all in honor of that horse back in 1919. So, we have a lot of fun today because Doug, the neighbor, went to his haberdasher and had his custom hat made. Because the one thing about the Kentucky Derby is all the women and men go to great, great troubles to have the biggest and most beautiful hats. Doug, the neighbor, how's your have a treat to your hat maker?
TK, so good to see you. And hats off or hats on to your haberdashery, a mad hatter. Obviously, he's a mad hatter. And I did my own hat because I'm ready for the Kentucky Derby. And I put my money where my hat is. $5 win, place, and show. Okay, so I am ready.
Wow. Now, did you get those $5 bills from your neighbor kid? Did you like beat him over the head and robbed him or something?
No, I sold some chickens.
Ah, yes, yes. Always, that's always a surefire way to make a couple bucks.
I had to give the kitties away, but the cats
Yeah.
away, but the kittens away, but I sold the chickens. They're money making. But the Kentucky Derby is this Saturday, and it's a beautiful, beautiful situation. And this is our 82nd podcast.
I know. Isn't that hard to believe that we've been able to do something consistently that most people do inconsistently?
The quality of our BS or our chatter, as I say, chat. We have nice chats.
Well, Doug, the neighbor, I told you what my father used to say to me. He said, if BS means music, I'd be an opera singer. And
my my
I replied, Dad, coming from you, I take that as a compliment.
my dad said with the military bearing was sit down and shut up. Or what was the one great phrase? Uh, little little people should be seen and not heard.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yes. Yeah, seen and not heard. And that always bothered me a little bit, It's just,
Well, it's better than well, I growing up, it says little people shouldn't be seen nor heard.
nor heard. Oh, very funny. But here we have our 82nd podcast, and our theme is the Kentucky Derby, which is this Saturday on May 2nd, and it's in Louisville, Kentucky. And this is a beautiful, beautiful situation. I always take the time out to go to a pub to watch the race. And when I lived in New York City and they had OTB, off track betting, it was always good to go Bet $5, win, play, show on a particular horse. So let me give you some facts that I have concerning the Kentucky Derby, and I'll give you my pick. Okay, I have a pick.
Ooh. You're now you're becoming a bookmaker, huh?
Or in England, I think they're called a tout, Tout, a tout. You see a tout,
Okay.
but they were the early forms of a bookmaker. They would take the bets. You see.
Uh-huh.
Now, the Kentucky Derby first Kentucky Derby was started in May 17th, 1875
Wow.
In Louisville, Kentucky, and the first winner was a horse named Astride, and his timing was 2 minutes and 37 seconds, and that would be 151 years ago, and
Mhm.
it's run continually. And I think maybe one or two breaks, COVID maybe, and maybe World War II, but basically pretty consistently. And it's part of the Triple Crown, where you have the Kentucky Derby, you have the Belmont, and then you have the Preakness. But the Kentucky Derby is called the Run for the Roses. How it's called that, I do not know. But it's always very stirring when they have the opening for the Kentucky Derby, when they sing My Old Kentucky Home, the state song of Kentucky.
Oh, yes, yes,
For here in Texas, it's Eyes of Texas. Well, in Kentucky,
exactly.
it's My Old Kentucky Home, and it's an old song. But interesting about it, in 1875, the Wild West was still going on. Billy the Kid was still around, or Wyatt Earp was still around. But here in Louisville, Kentucky, they had the Kentucky Derby. And that was kind of interesting. Now, the length of the Kentucky Derby is right now. Originally it was a mile and a half, but now they've got it down to a mile and a quarter. Okay, and that is equals to 10 furlongs. Now, I don't know what a furlong is, but I just remember growing up in West Texas, and somebody would say, "Well, how long is that?" And I said, "Well, it's for that far long, that furlong. That 2x4 is that furlong. But it's a unit of measurement. And it breaks down to 2,200 yards or 2 kilometers if you're any place outside the United States. And what's interesting is there's 20 horses that run in the Kentucky Derby. And this year is the first year that all 20 horses
Wow.
are descendants of Secretariat. In 1973, won all three of the Triple Crown, and also posted the fastest time in the Kentucky Derby of let's see, 1975, I guess, under 2 minutes, 1.59, a minute and 59 seconds. So the horse was nicknamed Big Red. But all of the horses are now descendants of Secretariat through breeding, and that's where the big money is. So I thought that was a kind of cool situation to understand there.
Well, Doug, let me share something with you real quick. You said Secretariat ran to just under 2 minutes.
Yes.
Well, the winner of the last year's Derby ran it in 1:59. So you could see how much bigger Big Red was compared to everybody in the last 20 some years.
Right, right. I just got my information off of Wikipedia. Maybe it hasn't been updated, that sort of stuff. They keep saying that it's the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Well, it's almost sexual too. It's the most exciting 2 minutes in your life, hon. There you go.
All right. Keep on talking, Douglas. I'm not saying a word.
Now, what's kind of interesting is, how do you get your horse to the Kentucky Derby? Now, they're all 3-year-olds. Okay, they're all 3-year-olds, and there's colts and fillies. All right. So you can have an early entry for a horse for about $600. So in other words, you're almost projecting a year and a half in the future for their 3-year-olds. Okay. And it's $600. And then you nominate for $25,000. And then if you get into the Kentucky Derby, it's another $25,000. So you've already got $50,000 in, plus the cost of the horse, whatever, just to get into the Kentucky Derby. All right, so that's a fair expense. That's why it's the sport of kings. You got to have a bunch of money. And of course, there's all sorts of stories of people who banded together and bought a portion of a horse and had it run, and they make for great movies. And it does happen. It does happen. But basically, it's a lot of money. Money, money. A
Money,
lot of
money.
money. So now that sort of stuff is interesting. Now it's called the Run for the Roses. I'm repeating there, but here's something of interest. The horses carry different weights. The colts carry 126 pounds. That means the jockey and the saddle and the bridle. That's why when they get off, immediately they take the jockey with the saddle over to a scale and they weigh him, and it's got to be under 126 pounds. But let me just get a little sip of this Dr. Pepper. All right. For the fillies, the girls in the race, it's got to be 121 pounds. So where are the equal rights people stating, well, we want the women to carry the same weight as men, or when a filly wins, where are the equal rights people? Well, 5 pounds less.
It's the Southern charm of making sure the woman is taken care of in the proper manner, Douglas. You never been there in Kentucky to see how the Southern charm works. And I have.
I've
So
seen
I'm sure.
Texas Charm. I've seen Texas Charm. It said where it's why don't the women carry the same weight as the men? So okay, all right. Now, bringing up the jockeys, of course, they have to be of smaller stature to win. I mean, because they have to keep their weight down, and the saddle weighs 8 pounds or something like that. So I was about 5 years old. Okay. I read this book about Churchill Downs from the library, and I'm 5 years old. I said, and I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I want to be a jockey. I want to be a jockey. And he looked at me and he said, no, you can't be a jockey. Look at your feet. And I didn't understand what he was meaning, look at your feet. And I said, okay, broke my heart. I wasn't going to be a jockey, and I found out. At age 5, your feet are half the size of what they're going to be. Yeah, I did not know that.
So,
So
did you wear like a size 11 when you were 5 years old? Was that sort of the tip off?
I filled my cowboy boots. So I thought that was kind of interesting that thing had happened in my life. Dad broke my heart. Oh, you look at your feet. Yes,
The
yes.
wisdom of a father.
Right, the wisdom of the father. Okay, now the Triple Crown has had 13 winners, and the last one was Justify. Oh, and I failed to. I think it was 2012. Justify. Okay, so that's only 13 winners in the. That doesn't right. I think it was about 2018. My notes are a little fuzzy. Uh-oh. I better get some popcorn. Got some popcorn from Landers, Wyoming, Cracker Box popcorn, caramel pop right here.
Oh
Great product.
yeah.
And our sponsor. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. This should smarten me up. Good food. Now, our art department came up with this great billboard here of Cracker Box popcorn from Landers, Wyoming, 307-335-7020. Okay, ask for Maxie. And get a smile and some popcorn. Tell them
That's
you got
right.
heard about us from Camp Kennerk podcast. Hmm.
Yeah, because things are
Anyway,
popping over there.
no, things are popping. So now I've been talking about the Kentucky Derby. So now I got to put my mouth where my money is. Okay. There's 20 horses. My pick is a horse called Right to Party.
Hey, now that is my kind of horse. I
Yes.
like that name.
Hmm. Now he's in the fifth pole position. You know, they line up and that
Hmm.
sort of stuff. You know, so he's in the fifth. And the fifth pole position, here's an interesting fact, has had 10 winners since 1930. So in 70, 70, 90 years, 10 of them. So that's 1 in 10. So there's something like that, 10 out of 70,
Hmm.
so 70, 90, 1 in 10 times. So and then so it's right to party, and I'm putting $5 a win, $5 to place, and $5 to show. There you go.
Well, you're placing all that money. I'll just interject something. You know, the winning horse, when they come to the winner's circle and the jockey gets pulls up, they get a blanket of roses laid over the horse's shoulders.
Right, right. Yeah.
And that way, and that is the reason why they call it for the roses, run for the roses. And that happens to weigh about 40 pounds. So that's a lot of roses.
That's a lot of roses. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, the pain is eased because the winner this year gets about $3 million.
Hey, you know, due to inflation, that seems like about the right place to be.
What's interesting about a jockey's life, the horse life, okay?
Hmm.
They have to get those horses up early in the morning to be running. The best, when they feed them, they run them, that sort of stuff. And they're usually in the barn, 3, 4 in the morning, get them out there running about 4 or 5 in the morning, that sort of stuff. So if you do the math, or you want to get in that horse world, you're in bed about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. That's why there's no party animals in the
Yeah,
jockey
that's right. That's right.
world. Just no party animals. But anyway, my my horse is right to party. Okay, this is where I'm going. Now, one other thing that I brought this up before to you. When you bet, it's pari-mutuel betting. In other words, your money goes into a pool and then the winner takes this and that sort of stuff. Las Vegas and the betting world could make a few extra bucks by this. And this is free advice for $1 from Doug the Neighbor and Camp Kennerk podcast. Follow me. Two buddies get together and say, okay, I think my horse can beat your horse. Okay, let's say
Yep.
you're
I'm following you so far.
okay. I know
You're
it's
doing
tough.
good, Douglas. You still got my attention.
Okay. So I make a bet where I say I bet $5 that Right to Party can beat your horse. It's
Hmm.
no matter where it is placed in the finals. But if my horse beats yours, what are the odds? And I get paid that. So then
Okay.
you have people. I think it would open up the betting world a little bit.
Yeah, I think the phrase that I grew up with was that it was called a straight up bet, meaning
Okay.
that you put your $5 in, I put my $5 in, and no matter where the total outcome is, it's just between you and me.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that if they expanded that betting aspect, it might be a very interesting way to make money. And if they would just send the check to, I'll be very altruistic. If they would send the check to uh, Goland, Gowland. Go onward when leaders and nations demand. That's the charitable organization. But that's a lot to fill in on a check. Just put in Goland, Gowland.
You just say Doug the Neighbor, Possum Trot Studios, Austin.
That'll get it. That'll get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, TK, I'm looking forward to to the Kentucky Derby and then the following races, the Pimlico and the Belmont. I do look forward to that. It's always good fun. Those horses are absolutely beautiful. The whole spectacle, and it is very American. It's very, very American. Other countries have their Kentucky Derbies. Canada's called Woodbine. What Epsom Down in England and Longchamps in Paris, France. But ours is the Triple Crown, and this weekend it's the Kentucky Derby.
Yep. Great day for horse race. Even if you don't like horses, it's a great day for horse race.
You gotta like those horses; they look so pretty.
That's
TK,
right.
that's all I got. Play ball.
Aaron, go brawl.